Hey there, welcome back once again for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days. This is a wonderful coffee table book I got about 2 decades ago from one of my best friends, and it's been surfing on every coffee table I've owned ever since. And it's been a wonderful excuse for conversation and to rediscover lost information and history, and to see life of a bygone era through the lens of a print publication that was specifically made just for one thing, this new phenomenon of the superhero. And it was through wartime and right after a Great Depression and right before the space race, and when the world found out about the power of the atomic bomb. And it was an interesting time, and we're still feeling the effects of it to this day, culturally and geopolitically, and in everything in between, anything you can throw at that. I mean, World War II really changed the world and changed borders, and these stories, most of them were written during World War II. So a lot of the readers of these stories were younger people. And as we saw the other day, I looked it up, the average age of an American soldier was 26, yet it gets younger as you parse down the average, that privates were usually 20 years old, and young people, reading, and they were probably reading comic books, as because that was streaming entertainment back then, and so let's turn the page and see what we have today. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between the release of Action Comics number 1 in 1938. It goes all the way up until 1955. The Silver Age begins in October of 1956 with the release of Showcase number 4 with the Silver Age Barry Allen, the new Flash. So those are definitive lines that we can mark the ages. And so let's get to today. Today is March the 14th, and we have one panel, and it's it looks to be pretty mundane, and let's see what this is all about, huh? This is art by Win Mortimer. It's from the cover of Mr. District Attorney number 43. It's from February of 1955. So this is some serial legal drama. We would call this a legal procedural today, right? This would be the order part of Law and Order. And then wouldn't that be Jack McKay? You know what I mean? You knew. I love Law and Order. Let's see. Let's read this. Okay. In the decade after World War II, when superheroes were in a temporary decline, crime comics emerged as a controversial genre. Publisher Lev Gleason's Crime Does Not Pay led the pack. Its gruesome tales of real gangsters inspired calls for censorship that eventually resulted in the institution of the Comics Code Authority. Always aware of its image, DC never embraced crime comics full-bloodedly, but did adapt a few radio and TV shows like this one. The plot playing out on this cover was a favorite of DC writers. A master criminal who sells his services to other crooks. In this case, he's selling unbreakable alibis. Okay. Context means everything then, huh? What does that mean? Today, like, we could say they're cosplayers. No, this is, maybe they're in the same gang. Maybe they're coming from a photo shoot. Who knows? But the 1955, they had TV shows like Perry Mason, the great granddaddy of all courtroom drama. and we've been having courtroom drama shows as a staple in television and in movies like ever since. Courtroom dramas are, seem to isn't The Crucible by John Updike, it's a play, but isn't that a courtroom drama in its own thing? What a great story too. And but yeah, that's what we have for today. We have I've got him, District Attorney. He fits the description given by the eyewitnesses perfectly. What? A third? These two were also picked up near the scene of the crime. Dun, dun, dun! Comic books, though, gotta love them. I mean, yeah, they're publishers. They're trying to make money plying their trade. What is their trade? To produce and sell magazines at a profit. And this is what was available, and this was on the newsstand. And comic books that didn't sell, that's why they have a date on the cover. That's why it says something like August 1955, or say like May of 1986. Because once May of 86 would roll around, that's when it turned June, that's when the newsstand would rip the cover off and send it back to the publisher for pulp. I believe that was the standard operating procedure of unsold magazines and comic books. So yeah, they were didn't sell, go back to pulp. Yeah, that's talk to me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment in the comments section. I'm sure that there's plenty of history out there. I'll get into that too. I'm going to look that up. What it was the fate of the unsold comic book. And I do believe it was the cover got ripped off. They got sent back to the publisher, and the newsstand got a credit for that, I believe. And yeah, that's part of the story of publications and publication history and American culture. Because what's changed the most for me in comics and about the way they're disseminated and sold has to be the lack of the newsstand. The newsstand is a 20th century idea in a 20th century marketplace. It's the 21st century. I mean, there are very few newsstands remaining. And yeah, it's just the marketplace has changed. And here's something. Okay, if a comic book in 1940 sold a dime, which is $1.99 in our current money, the average DC or Marvel comic book is usually about $3.99, $4.99, $5.99. Did you know that the digital copy costs just as much as a new release? Costs just as much as the print copy. Yeah. And let that sink in, please. I don't know what digital sales are. I get all my information about comic book sales from pretty reputable sources, namely Comics by Perch. I also watch Wes at Thinking Critical. I watch Richard C. Meyer at your boy Zach. He's got his own station. These are the people that get into brass tacks, because one of them, he's the last one. He's very controversial, but he's also a self-publisher, and he's good at it, and he knows how it's done, and he writes independent comic books that do sell particularly well, and he's crafted out his own niche. He can guarantee that he can sell 20,000 units of whatever he produces. I've missed out on his comics, and I'm like, damn, how do I get a copy of Impossible Stars? I mean, if you know how to get a copy of Impossible Stars, let me know in the comments, please. Reach out to your boy Zach. It's your boy. And that's all we got for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're talking about the golden age at DC Comics, 365 days. We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. We're going to do it. Tune in again tomorrow at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and we'll see who and what we come across when we open up the next page. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you can. An ordained minister, amateur theologian. We get spiritual here. I'm a professional chef. I share with you restaurant level cooking hacks so you can make nutritious, delicious, and beautiful food for your loved ones at your table at home. So please come and subscribe to Reverend Sully's channel. Just let the good times roll. I want to earn your subscription. And thanks so much for tuning in. God bless. Good luck. Namaste. Cheers.